Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Just a Bit Outside, our first ever baseball podcast from BW Sports 1. With me this morning, I'm used to Tuesday nights on Checkers and Wreckers. If you don't know me, I'm the source. With me today is two of my good buddies. One, but it's probably the Tim Kirchin of the group of baseball knowledge, Tim Quigley, and the other one is John Faber, who goes by Johnny Bucket. So welcome aboard, guys.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to see you guys this morning. Look at all the baseball stuff we got going on here. We got two Phillies. Well, we are all, for the record, we're all Phillies fans, but Tim wants to be different. He didn't want to be a homer.
Well, you can't go off completely homer here, man. We're supposed to be talking about everything, not just Philadelphia. If we're talking just Philadelphia, yeah, I'll break out the Philly stuff. But if we're going to be encompassing all of MLB, why are we all going to wear Philly stuff, unlike you two homers?
Yeah, he didn't go to the side of the state, though.
Yeah, no, he stayed in the state of Pennsylvania.
I could have went to Canada.
Right. Well, welcome aboard, guys.
Or the filthy city that's New York.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the team. We look forward to all these shows here with you guys. You guys ready for hopefully an exciting season of baseball ahead of us?
Yeah, hopefully. But Trace, you forgot to introduce yourself as you may be the source to everybody else, but to us, you're the host who thinks they know the most.
I don't know the most. I can tell you that right now. I don't know shiitake.
Oh.
Anyways, let's get on with our first topic here. So as most everybody knows, we had a really interesting offseason, to say the least, after the World Series ended, which congratulations are in order to the Atlanta Braves. As Phillies fans, we don't like that, but congratulations to them anyways for winning the World Series last year. And then we went into a lockout because both sides are greedy. So let's get into that a little bit. And I'm going to start here with Tim. And Tim, I want to know your opinion here on how the lockout was and what your opinion of how they handled it and who you think caved in more.
Well, as most negotiation goes, one side's going to want what they want, the other side's going to want their own thing. And for the longest time, for at least if you want to believe the reports that were out there, it seems like neither side wanted to move. And the league imposed the lockout, which, it's kind of dumb how they went through it. It's the classic millionaires versus billionaires, while the common man is sitting there going, what are you fighting about money for? Just play ball. So it's stressful. It was stressful to say the least. And even trying to plan for games this year, you're like, well, I was under the assumption we weren't going to have a season. And I don't know if every baseball fan felt that way or not. But I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah, John, let's get your opinion here on this. What was your opinion on the lockout?
Well, I think Manfred did himself no favors in terms of public opinion. I think it's pretty obvious that most everybody blamed it on him, whether that be rightfully so or not. It's hard to say. Again, it's a money situation. When it comes down to money, both sides are going to dig their heels in. I think in general, it seems like the players got more of what they were looking for. By most accounts, the league gave up more than they initially wanted to. And meeting in the middle, it seemed like the agreement was more player friendly than it was league friendly, which I think is at the end of the day probably a good thing, I guess. I don't think many of us normal Joe Schmoes have a whole lot of sympathy for the owners, and to be fair, the players either. But I think the players are more easy to side with than the so quote unquote greedy owners.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with you guys.
Let's not forget too, not to cut you off there, Matt, but when Manfred announced the lockout, he did it with a smirk on his face.
Right.
And if that didn't boil your blood at all, then you're not a baseball fan. If you're a baseball fan and you see Manfred, that's what we're going to call him from now on, freaking Manfred, come out there, ear-to-ear grin, going, hey, we're going to cancel games.
Let's be honest, too, though. The whole lockout thing should never have happened because you had the owners who were trying to make more money. You had the players who were trying to make more money. Mind you, we're going to get into the free agency here in a little bit, and you'll see the numbers that some of these players signed for, and they don't need more money. And that was the biggest thing. I honestly think the lockout was a joke. I was
yeah,
pretty
because
much.
it was a league-initiated lockout.
I mean, I was done with baseball for a little while until I knew they were coming back. It was hard to want to be a baseball fan knowing what was coming up next. With that, though, there was a lot of changes that were made. I know there's one that we're all not really on board with because of another rule that was implemented from last year. The universal DH was probably the biggest rule change that they made, where both leagues now will have a DH permanently. And with that, though, we were hoping that the ghost runner on second base was going to go away, and it didn't. So,
Well, it still could, but it's murky right now with that one apparently.
well, the players were the ones that wanted it, not the teams. It was the players that actually wanted it. So, shame on them.
I think the coaches wanted it more than anything, with the argument being the shorter spring training period, less time to gear up and get ready. They didn't want to go through 16-inning games and blow through their bullpens early on. But then again, too, you also have a 28-man roster to begin the year.
Right. And then we also have for next year, starting for next year, we have the banning of the shift. Me personally, I think the shift was dumb. I think it ruined baseball. But to that extent, it goes to
Be a
show
better
you.
hitter.
Exactly. It goes to show you that guys cannot hit in the shift. They can't hit opposite field. They are all natural pull hitters. And that's a shame. I mean, I would. I mean, look at anytime there's a shift, how many guys have ever hit out of it? You go looking back in the day, and we've talked about this at my work because I have some baseball fans at work. Guys like Ted Williams or Ricky Henderson, they'd hit it opposite field, or Henderson would just lay a bunt down and he'd be on first or second base at that point.
But that was the style of the game.
Right.
That was the mentality. Hit them where they ain't. Now it's launch angle, exit velocity, spin rates, and play the numbers.
It's a home run.
Play the statistics.
Yeah, it's a home run hitter's game now. So I'll throw this one to John first. Of all the offseason rule changes that has happened because of the lockout, which one do you like the most? Which one do you like the least? And give us a little bit of your opinion on why.
So I kind of like the fact that they just bit the bullet and did the universal DH. It's been inevitable for a long time. They were never going to take the DH away from the AL, so I think it was kind of necessary to level the playing field. You know, we're not at the point in time now where the AL and NL are totally different. I mean, they at one point they're not. It's all just one league, right? So I like how they implemented that. I'm with you guys. The Ghost Runner, I just hate it, man. I just really, really hate it. Like, I don't know. It just does not feel natural. It does not feel like the baseball we grew up with. It's just stupid. I mean, I don't know. Just stupid.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that the universal Ghost Runner on second base and extra innings is dumb. Tim, what about you? Your most favorite, least favorite, opinion why?
We're all in agreement here that the Ghost Runner is BS. The Ghost Runner only existed for AAU baseball when you've got to get 4 games in a span of 6 hours. And it was a showcase thing. It makes sense for travel baseball. It doesn't make sense for professional baseball. Professional baseball doesn't need to have a time limit. You can go 12, 13, 14 innings and any normal baseball fan will be fine. But we're all in a society now of everything's under a time crunch. Everything's got to be timed. It's got to be done. And it's got to be quick. Same way that they're going to implement the pitch clock in MLB. Now, the minor leagues have done it. It hasn't been that big of a hassle. I believe college baseball just started a rule. Same kind of thing where you get like 20 seconds or something like that to pitch the ball. But the pitch clock isn't that big of a thing for me. Minor leagues have been living with it for a while. I can live with that. Universal DH, it was, inevitable, like John said, which is a bummer for if you're a baseball purist. But originally, if it was have the DH and get rid of the Ghost Runner, I'd take the DH all day. If you're going to take away the Ghost Runner but add a DH, fine. You got to take your wins with your losses. And I was going to take that. And I took it. And when we get into free agent signings earlier, it opened up massive opportunities for a bunch of other players. Now you're not just limited to one league if you're a designated hitter. Like Nelson Cruz going to the Nationals. He never would have played in an NL team had there not been a DH. So now you've got another position, another bat to pay, and more offense. Fans love the long ball.
I mean, I think the DH rule is actually great. I mean, I hate it because I'm we're all traditionalists with the National League. We love to see the pitchers hit, but to the extent, look at what the Phillies did for free agency, which again we'll get to that here in a little bit. Being able to add guys, and now you're not putting a lot of strain on some of your top players where they can just go to DH and they don't have to worry about playing the field every day. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's going to make guys' careers longer. Albert
takes
Pujols
away from the strategy.
Yep, it takes away from the strategy. But look at Pujols. Pujols going back to St. Louis to be their DH, doesn't have to play first base.
It opens up opportunities for players who never would have had an opportunity before. There's no arguing that.
Yeah.
But now you're done with, the classic 7th inning pitchers only at like 95 pitches. He's due up second and you're down by a run. If the first guy hits a leadoff double, what do you do with the pitcher? Do you let him hit because he's shutting everybody down, or do you pinch hit for him and try to get the run in? So your chess game is essentially limited, which if you're a baseball purist, that's kind of the whole strategy of the thing.
Well, if you have a really bad 7, 8, 9 hitters like our team has had in the past, it equals out to having a designated hitter. So it's it's the same thing.
And we're not going to get any more classic moments like Bartolo Colon hitting a home run in Petco Park. We're not going to get Joe Blanton home runs. We're not. I mean, that excitement's out, and there are some good hitting pitchers. Look at Madison Bumgarner, Kershaw every now and then. Zach Greinke could somehow grab a bat and start roping doubles. So
Cole Hamels.
Cole Hamels. Yeah.
If you want to really dig deep into Phillies, look at Randy Wolf. Randy Wolf could.
Oh, the Wolf Pack, baby. Bring them back.
John knows my
I've
boy.
got stories about that 400 section.
John knows about my boy Cliff Lee hitting some good balls there. But so with the whole designated hitter thing, though, don't forget now there is a new rule in place for guys like Shohei Ohtani.
No. It's not for guys like Shohei. It's for Shohei.
Well, so
name me another pitcher that's going to hit that can hit 40 home runs in a year.
Hold on. I'm not saying that there's going to be pitchers that are going to hit 40 home runs like he does, but my point of it is there's going to be guys that are coming in like him at some point. He was the first. Okay,
maybe. I mean, it'd be interesting for the game if there were more guys like him, but he's a rarity, man. He's 1 in a million, if you ask me.
With your universal DH now, why? If I'm a pitcher, why would I worry about hitting? Why am I going to worry about it?
Well, I'm just saying,
unless you're naturally gifted. If you're naturally gifted, that's one thing. But if you're a normal Joe Schmo pitcher and you're trying to fast track your way to the big leagues, do you want to waste time trying to hit and be like Shohei, or are you going to work on the curveball?
Well, so here's my thing, though, is what I'm getting at is if you from a little bit of the Japanese leagues that I've watched a lot, they have a lot of guys over there that are two-way hitters.
Totally different game. Totally different game.
But I'm saying that this opens the door. This rule here, which I haven't even read off what it is yet, for those that don't know, so if you're a starting pitcher like Ohtani and you're designated hitter as well, if you get pulled out of the game as a starting pitcher, you basically stay in the game as a designated hitter. Mm-hmm. So Ohtani, obviously, this is a rule made for him. But my point of it is he opened the door for I'm not saying the next 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Down the road, we're eventually going to have these two-way players come in.
That rule only exists for the current length of the current CBA. It's not a set in stone rule. It's only for the length of this CBA.
No, but obviously the CBA is going to expire at some point. So when that
5 years, I think.
Yeah, when that CBA expires, who knows? We could get another two-way player. Who might not hit 40 home runs, but he could still bat 300.
Yeah. Though, like you were saying earlier with the Japanese league, having a lot of two-way guys, it's also, if you really want to dive down into it, the like the Korean leagues, if you ever watched any of those games, maybe during the lockout, or not the lockout, but the pandemic, when ESPN was showing Korean baseball at like 3, 4 in the morning, which, defensively and pitching wise, it's kind of like watching a AA game. And it's no fault of their own. It's just the talent that's over there. But some of those dudes could rake.
Oh, yeah.
And careers have been reinvented there. Like, I think Darren Ruff and Aaron Altair. They both went to the Korean League and kind of reinvented themselves. I'm trying to think who else went there and came back. Eric Thames for the Brewers came back and had a few good years in the MLB after slugging some dingers in the Korean Baseball League.
I mean, look at Ichiro came from the Korean league, so
Japan.
whatever. He came from there, came over here, was one of the best hitters in baseball. So
I'm trying
that's
to
where
remember. Did Ichiro win Rookie of the Year and MVP the same year? I can't remember.
I
think he did.
Statistician, why don't you look it up for us?
Good question.
Johnny Buckets and I are sitting here like, not sure. Come on, statistician.
We'll let Tim take the lead on that one.
Favorite baseball website, Baseball Reference. Yep, MVP Rookie of the Year in 2001.
Yeah. So, but see, and that's what I'm saying. So, guys have had decent careers
Tim
over
Kirchner
there.
actually got to live up to a reputation now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Right. Yeah, you're welcome. And that's what I said. I think down the road, it might not be during this CBA. I think maybe next CBA we might see guys potentially do that, like what Shohei's doing. And let's face it, he's a freak. Okay, I'm not disagreeing. That dude is a freak of nature. 40 home runs, one of the really good control of every pitch that he has. I don't think he really had too many bad outings this past year, so I think this year will be a big determining factor.
He gets a lot of batters to chase. His stuff moves and so much. I mean, you look at all of his strikeouts, it's very rarely. I mean, it happens, like, slider on the corner, splitter on the corner, but his stuff just breaks and dives, and guys just look foolish.
Yeah. So with that, and I know I've been talking about it, we're finally going to get into it. Let's go into our next big topic of the offseason here, and that was MLB Free Agency. We had some big signings before the lockout happened, though, and then once the lockout happened, everybody was on shutdown, and they were like, oh, nope, can't touch nothing. So everybody that's watching, if you look at the bottom, we have just a few of the big signings that occurred with Scherzer and Story and Castellanos and a few others. So let's get into a little bit here, the free agent tracker. And I'll start with you, John. What was your biggest surprise, whether it was a team or a player signing with a team? Like, what was your biggest surprise of the free agency that happened? Because there was a lot of money that was thrown around this year.
I mean, I'll be a homer again, but if you would have told me in the offseason the Phillies would be able to go out and get Castellanos and Schwarber for less than $20 million or less a year, I would have told you you're crazy. And to say that they would have gotten both of them for less money than Chris Bryant, I mean, come on. Big. Like, Castellanos seemed to be like the gem of free agency, and Chris Bryant was up there, obviously, but not in my mind, and I don't think most people's minds, he was a better pickup than Castellanos. And I mean, look at the contract comparison. So, I mean, it's a homer pick. It is what it is. But I mean, I think they killed it in those two signings, honestly.
Yeah, I'll agree. I don't think. Well, I mean, obviously, I was sold that Chris Bryant was coming to Philly because of the third base help that they needed.
You still need to pay me on that bet.
Yeah, I know. I owe you both still.
Yeah.
But in general, though, I thought this year's free agency was just, or this offseason's free agency was just wild because there were so many guys that you didn't think were going to go anywhere. It's like, for example, Freddie Freeman going to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
they did him dirty.
But
as Philly fans, so you can.
I mean, the Braves did, yeah. The Dodgers didn't. The Dodgers paid the man more than he deserved, probably.
Freddie's worth it. Freddie's worth it.
I don't know.
And we can agree here too that even though we're not the biggest Braves fans and we may be Philly homers, but Freddie Freeman plays the game right.
Absolutely.
He's
sure.
He is a new embodiment, in my opinion, of Chase Utley.
Oh, I agree.
He's just going to go out there. He's going to get the job done no matter what it takes.
My thing is, though, I think the Braves made out really well with getting Matt Olson to replace him because Olson's a really good ball player too, and they paid him. They paid him. I mean, Olson's going to be a good player.
And he's younger.
Yeah, you're going to have some longevity with him at first base. I mean, Freddie, I think 6 years was a lot of years to give him because there was. I don't know if I won't say he's past his prime. He's still got some good years left in him, but it's like at the back end of that contract.
It's like a Ryan Howard contract.
Yeah, it's like what's Freddie going to be
paid
like
for what he did, not for what he's going to do.
The Howard contract looks bad in retrospect because he got hurt. The Achilles, if you can literally pinpoint Ryan Howard's career tanking, and it was that Achilles tear at the end of what was that, 2010, 2011?
The Giant series, right?
Cardinals.
Yep.
Okay. Because I remember sitting there screaming at the TV, "Why aren't you running?" And he's on the ground holding his leg, and you go, "Oh no!" And then that was the beginning of the end for Ryan Howard. So in that statement, I don't quite agree with Freddie Freeman and Ryan Howard's contract being the same, because Howard would have kept. There was some decline, but it wasn't straight down.
Yeah. And like
Sorry,
I said,
I keep cutting you guys
no,
off. I
no,
love
no,
to hear
no,
the sound
no.
of my own voice.
No, you're good.
What
No,
do
you're
you think
good.
the show's about, man?
Yeah. But I mean, but my
It's
thing
about-
is, though,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
with Freeman though, like I don't agree with it being like the Ryan Howard contract. But my thing is like towards the back end of that contract in LA, how is he going to be? I mean, you're talking 6 years, and that's a
You have
lot.
a DH
still.
now,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and the Dodgers spend money.
but it's for 5 years.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But I'm assuming this is going to come back towards me unless Trace, you want to take it and go for.
No. Tim, go ahead. I want to hear your opinion.
I think the biggest one, and we've all seen the graphic that was put out there of teams who spent the most versus teams who spent the least, and the team I'm wearing was pretty much at the bottom, maybe second to last. But Oakland just did absolutely nothing. Oakland's fire selling everything. So Matt Olson, for example, going to Atlanta, Matt Chapman going to Toronto, and I can touch on how I feel about Toronto later. But the two big signings and the one team that spent $500 million was the Texas Rangers on two guys.
Yeah.
With Seager and Simeon.
Yep.
And that's arguably the best double play combo in the majors right now. And they shelled a pretty penny for them.
Yeah. But if you now look, so we're sitting here, you're talking about them spending $500 million on two players when you have teams like the Orioles and the Guardians who didn't even spend $30 million.
The Indians.
Yeah. They didn't even spend $30 million in the offseason.
We're on a public platform, John. We have to be politically correct now.
No, we do not.
Yes, we do.
And I will not.
Unless you want to, 20 years from now, somebody's going to look back on this and they're going to derail your career.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said it 18 months after the fact when it would have been politically acceptable to say, right?
Yeah. But so
just trying to watch out for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Looking out for your future endeavors.
So let's look here at some of the average salary signings. Okay. There's the top three is Scherzer, Correa, and Seager, and they all
Scherzer's contract. I was going to touch into that too with the Mets and their fire sale, or not fire sale, but fire spending.
Well, if you look at their average salary, they're each $32 million or above, which is more than the Guardians and the Orioles. So, So do you think them not spending money is bad for baseball, or do you think that's bad for just their fan bases alone?
I think it's bad for the fan base, not to kind of take this one and run with it, but you have teams like the Pirates who for years haven't brought anybody into the ballpark. You have guys, I'm trying to think of the catcher that they traded to Miami early on who was Gold Glove winner. And ship him out. They didn't bring back McCutchen. And it seems that any player that they have coming up through the system, they just ship them off. Look at that Garrett Cole trade from a few years ago. They've got nobody left from it. Nobody from that trade is on the team. So tell me how Pittsburgh's GM can sit there and say confidently, I'm building a team to win. Because you're not. You're not, buddy. Not even close.
Yeah.
So the knock on the Pirates ownership, I should say, is generally that they are solely focused on the business aspect, the money-making aspect, and they could care less about the product on the field.
How are you making money when nobody's there?
Well, I mean, it's like that. It's like in soccer, right? I mean, you're like basically you're shipping off and sending away players before you have to pay them, and you're not selling them the same way you do in terms of transfers in soccer. But still, I mean, it's anybody who has any promise, they try and flip him for 4, 5, 6 prospects that generally don't work out. I mean, they just don't pay people. They're not willing to pay anybody.
Miami even went out there and signed Jorge Soler. Now, I think they were big on the Castellanos wagon until they decided to part ways with Derek Jeter. I think there was some conflict of interest within that. But if Jeter was still at the Marlins, Castellanos probably would have went to Miami.
And if you actually look, so obviously Baltimore did make a couple signings. Most of it was minor league deals, but they did add Odor, second baseman.
I saw that.
Rougned
Odor.
Yeah.
The Yankees bust, I guess, right?
Right, yeah.
No, he's the guy who cold cocked
well, yeah, that too.
Bautista in Texas. professional boxer Rougned Odor.
But here's Cleveland. They made 2 major league deals, and that was it. And here they are, like, again, only spending $30 million in payroll. And same with Pittsburgh. They made a couple.
Was it Stallings the guy they traded? I got to go down here real quick.
Yeah, it might have been, but I mean, they got Heath Hembry as a older player, but put him right in the minor league. So they spent some money, but it was nothing that made you go like, whoa. And so John, that's why I'm going to put it to you. Obviously, like, so do you think, same question I asked him, do you think them not spending the money to help their fan base out is it good for baseball, or is it just bad for baseball, or is it just bad for them in general?
It's not good for anything except the owner's pockets, probably, to be honest with you. But what's the resolution? Do we implement a salary floor? I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I mean, like Tim said, you don't put a good product in the field. Theoretically, the people don't pay to come. And I mean, I'm sure that's accurate. It probably plays out in the attendance numbers and stuff like that. But it's not good for anybody. But how do you fix it? That's I guess the bigger question.
You make the team spend money.
I mean, salary floor in, right? I mean, that's what you're saying. That's salary floor, right?
Or maybe not just the salary floor, but maybe MLB needs to come in and threaten, some action, like start doing some things, or we're going to start heavily fining you. Put a product on the field, because I don't know if you guys have been to PNC Park, but it's one of the most beautiful parks out there, especially when you got the skyline of the city out there in center field, and it's a beautiful ballpark, and it's a shame that it's such a AAA team that's out there.
Unless you implement a serious salary floor, then it's all going to be discretionary. And do you really want Manfred to have the discretion to come in and try and shake things up just because he feels like it, or because he arbitrarily decides that this team is not doing enough? Or the same concept goes with tanking, right? I mean, if you think a team is tanking, right, then you can come in and say you can't tank, right? But how do you prove that necessarily? I mean, you either have to have a salary floor or you can't do anything about it, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, so
let's get back on topic.
Yeah. Well, no, we're
that is on topic.
Yeah, we are on topic. But
I'm not talking about WrestleMania here, Tim.
Hey, listen, the American Nightmare came back, baby, in full Nightmare attire. It was great.
Now, so with a little bit of we'll say a little bit here on the free agents topic. We have teams that haven't made any signings. We've had teams make signings. Now we also have players who haven't even signed yet. We got guys like Michael Conforto, drawing a blank here on the other one. Kyle Seager hasn't signed yet, third baseman.
Kyle Seager retired.
Well, that's true. I forgot. But Conforto is probably the biggest top name guy that's available yet.
Apparently, I think I read something on him where he was rehabbing a shoulder and he didn't want to pursue contracts with a bum shoulder. So he wanted to wait until everything was healed. So when he goes out and puts on a showcase, it's him. It's not diminished him. But yeah, it's a guy like Conforto taking this long to sign, and we're a week away from opening day.
Yeah, and so my point for him is, does a
not
team
even
like we're less than a week. Does a team like Baltimore or Cleveland or whatever throw big money at him and say, you know what, we're going to build our future around you now, even though he's, I think, 34, 30, 32, something like that?
I'll look up here.
I don't think they do, honestly. I mean, it's probably going to be a case of the rich get richer, if you ask me. Right? The teams that spend money will keep spending money. I don't think Conforto goes back to the Mets at this point. Doesn't feel like that.
It's 29.
An option.
29, okay.
But I mean, he could be a decent building piece for a team on the outs, or one of the lowly teams we talked about before. But I don't know. I generally, with baseball, if I have to guess on free agent signings, it's going to be one of the top 10 teams who are going to throw stupid money at somebody, and that's generally how it works.
You can take your top 10 team. I mean, look at the Chris Bryant deal. I mean, are the Rockies a top 10 team?
No, not at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. But they're starting to spend more, but they didn't pay Trevor Story.
They let they had a chance to trade Story at the deadline, and I mean, they let Story walk for nothing.
I know. And I mean, how stupid is that? Looking back,
it's so dumb.
Yeah,
you could have traded him and gotten maybe your haul of 5-6 prospects.
Anything.
Anything.
One prospect. I mean, I'm with you, man. I don't get it.
Well, that's a big thing too, though. So there's other guys. I'm not saying that they're. I would call them top free agents, but
We
we got.
got breaking news here. We got
Uh oh,
breaking news.
breaking news.
So with the Oakland Athletics fire sale, another trade has happened.
Breaking news right here live on
The Padres have acquired Sean Manaea, this left-handed starter from Oakland. So the fire sale continues. Let me see if I can dig up who was dealt here, but that's coming from Bleacher Report. That's not coming out of thin air.
So there you go. There's a move.
Let's see. Oakland trades Manaea right-hand pitcher Aaron Holiday for 2 prospects. So it's Oakland just getting back on the prospect wagon.
That makes sense, though.
First reported by Jeff Passan.
Oh, see, look, our Tim Kirchin on top of
First
it.
Reported by Tim Quigley.
And here's the thing:
we're going to take credit for that one. Please credit Tim Quigley in all tweets.
No, Passan first.
Yeah.
Tim second.
Tim second. But there you go. So there's another move that Pittsburgh's making to I don't know if that's really going to boost them too much, but that helps them.
I'd have to look into the names here, but Oakland's getting Urabel, Angelis, and Adrian Martinez in return. So might have to look up those names and see where they were in the prospect list.
Well, let's see here. Let's go to the Pirates here. Doing this on the fly.
Padres.
Sorry, Padres. So who'd you say they were getting?
I just closed the link.
Well, I could tell you it's probably nobody in the top 100 because they have.
No, it's not. I looked through that list
because Robert Hassel is the only minor leaguer that they have that's on their MLB roster. That's a prospect, what I can tell. So,
I'll look it up here, see what I can find real quick. If you guys want to chat.
Oh, you're good. So I have it on. I'm looking at it too.
All
right. So John, some other big name guys that haven't signed. We'll get into this while Tim looks. We got Matt Harvey from Baltimore. Baltimore's fire sale. Haven't done anything yet. One of our least favorite guys, Freddy Galvez. Sure, always a surefire in the field, but couldn't hit for crap.
I like Freddie, man. I would have taken him back in a heartbeat. Honestly, I like Freddie.
Veteran Brett Gardner played for the Yankees last year, left fielder. I can see him possibly retiring. He's 38. I don't know if anybody's really willing to take a shot at him, but there is still some guys left out there. Tim, have you found anything for us yet?
Let's see here. So it looks like Adrian Martinez, if I've got the right guy up here. He is on the 40-man roster for San Diego. Right-handed pitcher. Looks like he was kind of floating between AA and AAA last year. If you combine both leagues, 3.38 ERA, 8-5 record, 125 innings, 1.24 WHIP. So I mean, that's a guy that can definitely bring up and let him learn at the major league level probably this year. If we're looking at Urabel, he is in high A right now, and he's a middle infielder. He's 19 years old.
So, Tim, bottom of the screen there, I assume you know them.
Yeah.
Hi,
Dad.
Yep. Wants to talk a little Freddie Freeman.
I told you the old, like I said, Chase Utley comparison right there.
Yeah.
Except first base and doesn't slide into second base and break guys' legs, which I still don't think that was a dirty play.
No.
But I wish he would have went somewhere else other than the Dodgers. I hate the idea of building that super team.
Yeah,
I hate that idea.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, he's gonna rake, and he's still a Gold Glove winning first baseman, just coming off an MVP. He's gonna be good. We all know this.
As a Phillies fan, he was a hard guy to hate.
Yeah,
he really was.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you hated seeing him coming up to the plate. If there's a guy on second and third, and you're like, oh crap, here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to change the format here a little bit because since we're talking about the Dodgers, I'm going to bump up one here real quick. And we'll go with our too early to call World Series picks. Now, obviously, between the Dodgers and the Mets, they've spent the most money. The Mets are without both starting pitchers for opening day. I know DeGrom could be out for a good portion of possibly the first month. Maybe less time, maybe longer with an injury. So, gentlemen, based on what we've seen in free agency, what we've seen so far in spring training, projections and all that stuff, who are your guys' too early to call World Series picks, as in who's representing the American League, who's representing the National League, and who wins the World Series? Let's just get this underway right now.
So, good segue there, Trace. And I mean, I think with the National League, the easy pick is the Dodgers. Even Dave Roberts even says, World Series or bust this year. So, I mean, you want to see them not make it because, in my opinion, but they're probably going to go to the World Series. The AL could be a little interesting. I think the Blue Jays have a shot. And I think not going down into the NLCS and the ALCS, but it wouldn't shock me if it's the Mariners and the Blue Jays fighting to get in from the American League. Especially with the Blue Jays adding Kevin Gausman on a 5-year deal. They extended Jose Barrios. Vlad Jr. is just getting better. The Blue Jays are going to be amazing. I really think the Blue Jays have a shot, and I'm going to say the Blue Jays beat the Dodgers in the too early to call World Series.
John, what about you?
So it's your heart versus your mind. My heart hates it, but the Dodgers do seem like the team to beat in the NL. I mean, I don't know. Baseball is one of those.
And they've got how many guys are turning from their World Series appearing teams and adding Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I mean
they've got the experience.
They're easy to hate, and I do hate them, but they will probably be very, very good.
And they even added and they even added Kimbrel.
Yeah.
Recently, so
we've coveted Kimbrel for a very long time. I mean, the Phillies, I should not we. I should stop saying we, but you know what I mean. AL, I like the Blue Jays too, and I like the White Sox.
White Sox are good.
I like the White Sox too. I mean, I'd probably say it would come down to those two, but I do think the AL will be more competitive than the NL. I hate to say it. I think the NL is very top heavy. The AL is going to have a lot more parity. 5, 6, 7 teams will probably be in the mix, like realistically in the mix to win it.
And considering half the teams make the playoffs now.
Well, yeah.
So I'm going to go a little off from you guys. I think as good as the Dodgers are and how much they're trying to buy another World Series title, I don't want to say this because of being a Phillies fan, but
here it comes.
I think the Braves actually might.
Oh, I thought you were going another direction.
No. I think the Braves might actually have a good chance of repeating as repeating the NL.
And they get Acuna back.
Right, and
Kenley Jansen.
Yeah,
and Matt Olson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they lost Freddie Freeman. That's a big loss to them. But like we said, I think Matt Olson is a good pickup for them, and they didn't really lose much firepower from their pitching. So I still think that it's hard to bet against the Braves. Yeah. I think in the American League, I agree with the White Sox. I agree with the Blue Jays. But I think another team to watch out for, whether they cheat or not, would be the Houston Astros. And I don't want to root for
curveball. Curveball.
Yeah.
It's a curveball.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right, Trace. I agree with that too.
Talent-wise, Houston has the ability to compete.
I didn't set my dog off.
Houston has the ability to compete with the best of the American League as long as they don't cheat. So my pick.
The Red Sox.
Yeah, that one too.
Anybody
I saw a comment earlier about the Reds. Weren't the Reds on the bottom of the list too of not spending anything? And they had a fire sale too, getting rid of Suarez, and they just lost Castellanos. But they didn't traded away Winkler. They traded away Suarez to Seattle, and that's why I think Seattle's going to be good.
They didn't make any play for Castellanos though. Like they didn't.
They're shedding money. They traded Sonny Gray to the Twins. Twins could be one to watch too out of the AL. Sorry to cut you off, Tracy. You were going with?
So I think I'm going to take to repeat. I'll take the Braves to win the World Series, and I'll take them beating the Houston Astros, and I'll even go even farther and say the Braves beat the Astros in 6 games.
Ooh,
So,
interesting. You gonna put money on that?
No.
Hey, UNC money line, baby. Cash that all day.
$17 whole dollars.
Listen,
Right.
man. Listen.
Mr.
Right.
10 better.
I'm fiscally conscious, my friend.
Mhm.
So
I bet
Tim,
responsibly.
Tim, your dad asked a pretty cool question here. Who will have the worst record? Let me pull it up here. Who will have the worst record this year? So I
Orioles, Reds, or Pirates? Take your pick.
I don't think the Reds will be the worst. I don't really think they'll be the worst. I think it's going to be the Orioles. To be honest, I think the Orioles are going to have the worst record.
They've
Orioles are
got
so
they've got a
bad.
few young guys coming up though that could be competitive. I mean, yeah, the Reds have a chance. But the Reds also have Hunter Green, so that's something to watch out there. The Orioles have Adley Rutschman.
Yep.
I'm not sure if Adley's going to make the roster opening day. I know Green has Detroit maybe, but they've got a lot of young guys too, plus Javier Baez.
What about Cleveland?
Nah,
I mean,
they'll
Cleveland.
be mid. They'll make the playoffs.
No, hold on. Cleveland has fallen pretty far from losing the World Series to the Cubs. How they went from being way up here for a few years now, all of a sudden
They've
they
sold
have
everybody.
been. Yeah, so I think Cleveland could be in the running for who will have the worst. If I had the Indians AAA team isn't bad, so Pirates have some stuff to grab. That's my Checkers and Wreckers co-host there, guys.
Well, there you go.
He's confident in his Reds and their ability to not do anything this year, apparently.
Hey, got to get that draft pick, baby.
Yeah. All right. So since we had the World Series picks, we got to get started somewhere. So Thursday, opening day, opening weekend, big matchups. I think there's some big matchups this week. We got Yankees, Red Sox, probably one of the best rivalries in baseball. Yankees, Red Sox. Chicago, Milwaukee, I think is going to be a pretty good series. So who do you think? Opening weekend, what do you think is probably the best opening weekend series? And what are you going to be watching? Other than Phillies and Athletics, because, Phillies fans.
Yeah. Well, you could also, Oakland coming to Philadelphia. You have the old 2 Philadelphia teams coming back together.
Yeah.
So, maybe
Connie
something
Mack.
to watch there in old Connie Mack Stadium.
Yeah.
You got Mariners Twins, it looks like, so that could be a good one right out of the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what else we got here. Rangers Blue Jays, that could be a good one.
Depending on the pitching matchup, the Nationals Mets for the opening day game could be pretty decent.
I saw a rumor where the Mets were going to go with a bullpen game for opening day.
Oh,
because
of course, that's
they
the most Mets thing ever.
Yeah.
But the thought process being they don't want to bump up the 3-4 guys and mess with because apparently they're on scheduled rotation wise to be ready for their regular season start. So they don't want to come back, or they don't want to push them up and hurt them, I guess.
So
with my hands. What do I do with my hands?
So what are you guys saying? What do you think is the best series for the weekend for opening day?
John?
Just out of one of them. Just out of all the games that are being played, what's the best series?
Listen, you got to go with Yankees Red Sox, I think, probably. It's opening series. It's the biggest rivalry in baseball, probably. It's the consensus pick. It's the evil empire versus the evil empire, but one of them has to lose. That's good, right?
Yeah. Tim, I'll pass it over to you here once.
Clearly, Pirates Cardinals.
I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball, and I think, and you'll get my understanding when I tell you. I think Texas Toronto will actually be a great series to watch.
That's gonna be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of money Texas just spent with they're just 2 signings with probably the best infield now in baseball. And Toronto is Toronto. Toronto's going to be good. Toronto's going to be one of the best teams in baseball this year. I think, first off, I think the whole American League East is bound to have like a really good year. That might
Minus
be the toughest.
Orioles.
Yeah, I think that division is going to be the toughest division to win in all of baseball. But I think that's going to be a great matchup to watch, just to see how good Texas can gel with their signings and how good is Toronto really going to be? Because we know how good Vlad Jr. is, but can they piece it all together? Especially since I think Barrios is pitching.
He's got the second game, I think.
Yeah,
I was just looking because Thursday.
Well, they don't play Thursday; they play Friday.
Yeah, so it's Barrios.
Barrios gets to start against John Gray, and that's to me, I think that's gonna be a good matchup. I think that Toronto, they're playing in Toronto because they didn't open up last year in Toronto because of COVID. So I really like the Toronto Texas series.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, let's talk a little bit here since we are Phillies fans. We have a little bit of time here to kill before we get into our next topic. What's your guys' outlook on our Phillies against Oakland?
It's going to be. Oh, they don't sweep them. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
They got to sweep them.
The A's are not good.
No. The A's are garbage.
And
Moneyball won't save them.
The concern, as usual, in the Phillies is going to be the bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen's going to single-handedly blow.
I hate to say it, but a little bit of concern for Nola and giving up the homers like he has been in spring training again, just like he did last year.
Cole Hamels 2.0, baby.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
Dare slander the name of Cole Hamels.
And then, we're looking for
World Series MVP Cole Hamels. Thank you very much.
A general comment, not so just for the opening series, but what does Suarez bring back this year? Was it like a flash in the pan type thing last year? Can he be relied on to be a solid middle of the rotation starter?
Big on Suarez.
Yeah, I mean, it's
big on Suarez.
He passed the eye test last year too, but yeah. I mean, you're right. Absolutely. The Phillies are going to have their bats alive. They're going to have to put up like double-digit runs a game.
If you score 20 and hold them to 15, a win's a win.
Yeah,
bomb or bust, baby. That's what we're going for.
So
it's going to be a lot of bust.
Obviously, in our group chat, we've talked about it. The Phillies actually have one of the top batting lineups in baseball
on paper,
and on paper, they're starting rotations in the top 10.
Somehow,
somehow, some way. I mean, it's very top heavy.
I mean, Wheeler is a possible Cy Young winner if he can repeat. Nola, if he gets back on track, is going to be good. Depending on what you want to come out of with Suarez, depending what happens with him. Gibson as your 4, which, I think, and then Eflin as 5.
I think Gibson and Eflin could be the turning point for them.
How many times have we said Eflin's going to be a turning point?
He was showing good signs towards the end of last year. I think this year, if he puts it together,
he pitched well in spring training so far too.
Yeah. I think I'm not. I'm not 100% sold on him, but I think
there's
got a chance with.
There's a signing the Phillies had that's going under the radar, and that's former Met Jerry's Familia, Mr. Blown Save Extraordinaire.
Yeah, he fits in the Phillies bullpen very, very well.
It's the equivalent of having Brad Hand twice in the bullpen.
Hey, Brad Hand could be decent, though. If he can get back to what he did in the second half. If.
And let's not forget Sir Anthony.
Yeah, that's right. Sir Anthony.
Sir Anthony apparently showing good stuff, and he's going to be a vital piece of any bullpen that would have any type of success.
Comeback player of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I go that far, but it sounds like he's showing he lost a good amount of weight. He's got good velocity on his ball from what you hear from Salisbury and the people in the know. So I don't know. Cautiously optimistic maybe that he'll be okay, but again, one man does not make a bullpen.
No, not at all.
Unfortunately, their track record does not give any of us much confidence.
It's going to probably be another stereotypical Philly year where they start off hot and everything's good and we're going to brag.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go downhill and then they'll make a mediocre trade at the deadline and be good for a little bit. And even with expanded playoffs, they'll somehow lose out by 2 games and finish under 500 again.
So
if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet on the Tim being right on that one.
Very Tim Kirkland. So I think that's going to lead us into the final segue, which we were talking about. We'll go with some picks here, guys. Let's start with our National League Cy Young winner. Now, you were talking about Zack Wheeler being a potential Cy Young candidate. I thought he got snubbed last year, not as a Phillies fan, as a fan of baseball. but DeGrom was going to run away with it if he didn't get hurt last year. So
Yeah.
start with you, John. Who do you think is going to be the National League Cy Young winner?
Another heart versus brain quagmire, I guess. But I'd probably go with Scherzer. I don't know. I just think he's going to be dealing this year. I just feel like he's got in a good spot.
Yeah, Scherzer pick is pretty good. But again, right now he's hurt, so he's going to be missing the start of first
couple
week
at least.
I don't think he'll miss a lot of time. I don't think it's anything serious. I don't know. He's pretty durable.
Hamstring tightness, it's a reoccurring injury that can come up and
soft tissue injuries are lingering.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably wrong. Don't bet on it.
I'm trying to think of some names here that aren't, common. Obviously, Wheeler's going to be up there. DeGrom's going to be up there, whether he's healthy or not.
But DeGrom can miss a decent amount of time.
He could, yeah, especially with the shoulder.
Yeah.
Corbin Burns probably has a good shot to repeat. I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little biased. I think it's gonna be hard to argue that Zack Wheeler might not be the Cy Young winner. And again, it's gonna be biased towards the Phillies, but I think Wheeler, if healthy for the whole year and puts on the same year that he had last year, he's gonna be hard to beat in general. And with the lineup that they have batting for him, he's going to get a lot more wins this year than what he did last year. And I think that's what held him back. So,
I mean, there's also I'm looking up here too, just because I was drawing a blank on some names. Walker Buehler could be good. Gausman's already in the American League. Scherzer, yeah, we already mentioned him. Wheeler. Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Brandon Woodruff? Did I get my Brewers pitchers wrong? Yeah.
Well, so right now the favorites, just looking, you got Scherzer, Corbin Burns, Zack Wheeler, Buehler, Woodruff, and actually Nola made the list too. So.
Do not go bet on Nola.
No, I wouldn't either. Okay, so my pick's Wheeler. So whatever you guys think out of that list that I just gave you of Scherzer, Burns, Wheeler, Buehler, Woodruff, and Nola.
Yeah, I stick with Scherzer. I think.
If DeGrom comes back healthy, I'll go DeGrom.
Yeah, I like the DeGrom pick, but again, we don't know how long he's actually going to be out for.
That's an if.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They said he could miss some significant time. Okay, we'll go to across the league. Let's go to the American Cy Young.
I'll start this one off here. I think touching back earlier with the series to watch with Toronto and Texas and Barrios getting the ball on opening day, I think Jose Barrios is going to have a really good year this year. He's going to have a great offense behind him. Going to be super comfortable. Especially if they can get him a lead early. His stuff's nasty. He's got massive repertoire of pitches, breaking out the fancy dictionary. But I think Jose Barrios has got a real good shot for AL Cy Young.
Yeah, I like that pick. John?
I'm a believer, so I...
They're going to trade him in the middle of the year anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
They honestly probably will trade him in the middle of the season.
It's possible. I mean, he could go on a contender at that point. He probably will go to a contender at that point. They're going to be a bad team, but it feels a lot to me like I'd love if Philly got him, but it feels a lot to me like a terrible team with an ace that's just going to deal. So I like him, in Cleveland.
Yeah, I like Shane Bieber too. But I'm going to agree with your dad on this one here, Tim. I think the Garrett Cole revenge.
That's my brother, buddy.
Patrick.
Sorry, Patrick.
Oh my gosh. Matt, how dare you?
I wasn't reading completely. All I saw was Quigley, and your dad's been talking the most. Patrick hasn't said a word. I agree with him though. The Garrett Cole.
There's no sticky stuff. No sticky stuff.
I don't care. I think Garrett Cole is the yeah. Patrick, calm down.
Oh, let me guess. He's calling me out.
Yeah.
Listen here, little brother.
I think the Garrett Cole revenge tour is big.
It's probably going to happen.
Yeah,
dude's a monster.
He is the favorite too. If you're wondering, he is the favorite, early odds favorite to win the American League Cy Young. So it's going to be hard to root against him. I mean, other than he's a Yankee, it's really easy to root against the Yankees. We all know that.
Listen, after the 2009 World Series, I can't really talk much. So
You're not wrong.
nope, nobody covered third base.
It's like
Still, and Hideki Matsui. I still hear about that to this day.
it's like John and I. The 2010 NHL Stanley Cup Finals never happened either.
Oh God.
All right.
We love
Next-
heartbreak.
Yeah.
We
Next,
love heartbreak.
next on the list, National League MVP. Now, our boy, as Dan calls him, Bruce Harper,
Yeah.
is coming off another MVP season.
Yeah.
Does he
I'm ta-
repeat, or are
I'm
we going
ta-
to see somebody
yeah.
new?
I'm
I
taking
got-
Bruce all day. With the type of support they're giving him in that lineup. Look what he did with very little support around him. He's gonna just light it on fire, man. I cannot bet against Bryce, whatever you want to call him. MV3, so we'll call him. You cannot bet against that guy.
Off the wall pick right here. Matt Olson.
Ooh.
Matt Olson or Acuna. I think it's going to be. I think the Braves are going to have another guy on their hands. Winning the MVP.
Olson's at plus 3,000 too, just so you know.
I don't look at any lines. I
No.
don't
I'm saying that's how much of
you reward the man with a big contract. You ship out, and especially if he comes in and wins MVP after shipping out the franchise guy, Freddie Freeman.
Well, I'm just saying
It's going to make the Braves look like the smartest team out there.
Yeah, well, I was saying like that's how his odds are. That's a solid dark horse pick. I'm actually gonna go with another kind of dark horse pick, but it's gonna be out there is Juan Soto.
Yeah, I don't think he's a dark horse. I think he's
up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
But for how bad Washington is,
how bad we think they're going to be.
Yeah, Soto's really good.
Soto's a tank.
What's gonna kill him is for how
Ex-Harrisburg Senator Juan Soto, right?
Yeah.
Ex-Harrisburg Senator who famously had the quote of, sorry to cut you off there, Trace, but Juan Soto comes into Harrisburg and wherever he's staying, brings an inflatable mattress. Coach comes up to him and goes, we're going to need to get you better sleeping arrangements. And he looks at the coach and says, don't worry, I won't be here long. A week later, he's in the majors.
I mean, your brother's giving me crap for taking Juan Soto, but I think if you're talking about overall hitting, he might be one of the best hitters in baseball.
When it comes to putting the bat on the ball, maybe. I mean, he always makes contact. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know his numbers off the top of my head, but I mean, he's kind of a safe pick, I'd say. He's a safe pick. It's not really a dark horse and off the wall. It's probably a safe pick.
My other pick would be Mookie in LA.
Oh God, yeah. I'm avoiding anything Dodgers. I don't want to give the Dodgers any more hype than they already have.
Yeah. How about let's go to the American League?
I'm going to go deep into the Harrisburg Senators again, and I'm going to take the son of a Harrisburg Senators legend, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Up there in Toronto. I think that's an easy pick. He's probably, I don't know if he's the favorite, but he's probably got to be up there.
Let's see here.
I think
he's one of the three favorites. So there's three favorites.
Let's see here. I mean, I'd love to see Mike Trout win it again, but that's way too easy. Let's see who else we got out there.
The favorite is Ohtani again.
Of course,
of course it is. I mean, you can't root against that guy. So
yeah, you can when he plays your team. You can
but I mean, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I bet on him in the home run derby last year, and he was awful. So
that's what I was just going to pick right there.
Aaron Judge.
And it's coming up. And it's coming up time where the Yankees are going to have to pay him. It's either pay him or let him walk. And if the Yankees let Judge walk, New York is going to explode.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially if Judge comes out and wins an MVP, it's going to be even harder. He's going to make way more money.
I mean, we've talked about this team a couple of times. What about anybody from the White Sox? I mean, they got some potential to be a threat, and
unless Tony La Russa runs them to the ground.
I don't know if La Russa's going to run him to the ground.
Or gets another DUI.
It's another DUI.
Maybe all of the
above.
Sorry, Tony.
No, you're not.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at their lineup, though, Jose Abreu.
He's getting older.
he can make a run. Tim Anderson can make a run. I mean, they got some.
They're probably really
decent
long
talent.
odds.
They
If I
are,
were to guess. I mean,
but sometimes those long odds can work out in your favor. I mean, not like I'm saying
Sometimes.
Josh Harrison is going to be their MVP, former Pittsburgh Pirate from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Josh Harrison, Mr. Well, who's he been with? You probably start a Kenny Lofton type list with him.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's been around more than Kim Kardashian.
Oh,
And he can't win like Kim Kardashian.
and
With that, we got one more here, then we're gonna call it quits. Overall, I know each league has their own rookie of the year, but who do you think is the top rookie for baseball this year? We'll start with Tim on this one.
all right. I'm going to go with a guy in Detroit who was just handed a first baseman's mitt from a future Hall of Famer, Spencer Torkelson. I think having a guy like Miguel Cabrera that you can literally attach yourself to the hip and learn off of one of the best hitters in our lifetime, it's just going to do wonders for him. And if you can spend the whole year just picking the mind of Miguel Cabrera, I think it's going to show in his offensive game. So I'm going to go Torkelson if we're picking an overall rookie of the year.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. I mean, he spent last year in AAA, anyways.
Yeah, I can pull up his numbers here. I've got the tabs set up.
John, who do you think is going to be the top rookie for baseball?
The Royals have a kid named Bobby Witt.
Yep.
That's good.
Number one.
Yeah. He's got a heck of a bat. I'll tell you what. I think he'll be good.
So Torkelson here, and I got Bobby Witt. I can pull him up too. He was in 3 leagues last year, so high A, double A, triple A. We're going to combine all of those for 530 total plate appearances with a 267 average, with 30 bombs and 91 home runs.
Yeah.
The majority of his bombs coming in double A with 14.
Wait, did you say 91 home runs?
91 ribbies.
All right, there you
That's
go.
30 dingers. 91
You said
ribbies.
91 home runs.
Well, maybe with some added help. And let's see, Witt.
I was going to say that'd be a heck of a year.
Witt last year spent time between Double A and Triple A with a 290 average, 33 homers and 97 RBI, and his numbers are. I mean, it's literally a 50-50 split. He spent 61 games in Double A, 63 games in Triple A, and they mirror each other. Like the stats quite literally mirror each other. So, kid can hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bunch of guys that I like. I'll tell you who my guy is. I'm looking forward to watching play. I think Adley Rutschman from Baltimore is going to be a good player. I think Julio Rodriguez in Seattle is going to be good.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
And I also think C.J. Abrams in San Diego is going to be a really good guy to watch. But I think the guy that's going to be the most exciting and who I think would probably be Rookie of the Year, and we've talked about it, I'm going to make a few people who are watching happy, Hunter Green in Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's good. 100-mile-per-hour thrower with a nasty slider.
And he's 6'5", and he's 6'5", and he's a beast.
Make a homer shout out to Bryson Stott, dark horse.
Yeah, I like Stott too. That's as long as he makes the roster.
Yeah.
With that, that's the first show.
We made it.
We survived.
We survived.
We spewed enough.
And I would say that we're thriving too. We're surviving and thriving, gents.
Yeah. So with that, thank you, gentlemen, for joining. We'll have another new show for you guys next week. Hopefully, we'll have some good baseball games to talk about, and it's not a dud opening day weekend. I mean,
that's a good one.
It won't be. It won't be.
Yeah.
All the money that was spent into the offseason, this better be some exciting opening day weekend. I can't wait. It's been a long time coming. Thank you guys again for joining. Anything you guys want to end with?
Let's not have another lockout.
Yeah. Fire Manfred. I mean, you can end with that too.
Yeah. Listen, these guys want to play. These guys are happy to be on the field. So I think we're going to get a heck of an opening weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Can't wait. Baseball's back, baby.
WrestleMania Night 2. Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Tune in next week. And make sure you check out all of our partners that are scrolling at the bottom there. I'll be back Tuesday, hopefully, with Checkers and Wreckers with Tommy Boy. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Sounds good.